Welcome to the London Outlook for Thursday, the 21st of March 2024. Starting off with the economic calendar. Yesterday we had the Fed funds rate, and I guess the Federal Reserve decided to keep interest rates flat, and thus moving on to today. Just for context, what you can see is that price actually moved out quite a bit yesterday, suggesting a stronger GBP than the USD. And I guess this was somewhat priced in, because if it was unexpected, then we would have seen that GBPUSD move to the downside. However, moving on to today, we have a whole bunch of red folder news, specifically flash manufacturing PMI for the GBP, and then we've also got the GBP interest rates at the open of New York, and then subsequently we have a bunch of red folder USD news. Given that we've got GBP interest rate news at 2 p.m. and then the monetary policy statement, which is about 30 minutes to an hour, where the Governor of England, of the Bank of England, speaks, it's probably not best to trade the New York session, especially given all the news releases and the fact that we don't know what's going to be said in this policy. Thus, for that reason, I won't be trading any New York trades. How I will be managing my sessions is that I'll trade any Frankfurt or London positions that present. Depending on this 11:30 a.m. news, I will manage my position accordingly if I am in any open positions. In terms of the time frames that I'm looking at, so the London lull, if I do have any open trade positions during Frankfurt and London at the lull, I will close any of those positions. The cutoff that you're seeing here is the period where I will stop taking any positions after this point in time. So as you can see, with this point in time is 11 a.m. my time. We then have PMI at 11:30 a.m. So if I'm not in a trade in this window, essentially I'm not going to be trading for the rest of the day, and that's perfectly okay. It's about protecting your capital. So having said all of that, how are we going to approach the day? Well, essentially let's take a look at the technical analysis from a higher time frame. Well, from the daily, what we can see is that we had our bullish candle as anticipated yesterday. Unfortunately, there was just no way to get into this trade. Then from a 4H perspective, understanding the market structure, we understand from the last couple of days that there was a change in market structure, and essentially we are in an unconfirmed state. What this means is that in order to take any trade, we need 4H OB backing, a substructure target, level to target, and then internal range liquidity towards the target. And then of course we have to take into account any barriers we're trading in, and if we're trading against any barriers, then we need to validate new IRL in the current day in order to trade against that reaction point. In terms of understanding the order flow, so currently we have a couple of legs that have developed. We have the protrend unconfirmed leg being the leg that has broken the substructure, hence protrend unconfirmed. It will be confirmed once we body break this break of structure. For that reason, we've got this protrend unconfirmed OP, which we have reacted to. On the other hand, we've got this protrend previously confirmed primary leg, and the reason why I call it previously confirmed is the fact that we don't know if this is just a liquidity grab to ultimately continue to the downside. Thus, for that reason, it's protrend unconfirmed, and since there wasn't anything clear to the left, and what is to the left is quite far away, we validated this leg with the order flow, and as you can see, we have a 4H OB right here that was body broken to then validate this leg right here. On the other hand, what we can see is that the reaction to the protrend unconfirmed OP resulted in an order flow shift, and as a result I validated the protrend unconfirmed primary leg right here. In terms of understanding where we are trading to and from, so we reacted from the protrend unconfirmed OP, which then took out this substructure right here and achieved its objective, and thus in order to long we need price to come back to this area, or alternatively we do have this window of imbalance, which I can mark out right here, which will support trading longs. However, obviously we need to validate the substructure high first. So having said that, essentially, well, longs are off the cards at least until we get to either this point or this point. Then the other thing I wanted to say is in terms of shorts, we do have the program previously confirmed primary leg will be right here, which we are reacting to right now, and thus the primary buyers would be too short for at least for the start of the session. Obviously we have this barrier to navigate, and then this barrier when we do come down in order to ultimately reach the substructure low target right here. Either way, it's not too much of a fuss because of all the redfolder news. So once we're out of our window where we can trade, then the news will probably guide us as to which OB to trade from next. Obviously after we are outside of our cutoff window, then we won't be trading for the rest of the day. But having said all of that, what we can understand is from the higher time frame narrative, we're in an unconfirmed scenario and we only have back into short. How I will approach shorting is in an ideal scenario. Upon the Frankfurt open, the Frankfurt will create a high of the day, then London will validate the Frankfurt high of the day, after which point I'll either enter aggressively or wait for a pullback, placing my stop loss above the Frankfurt high of the day, and probably targeting a 1, 2, 3 in and around this area, with the optimal exit time being at the end of the low. Having said all of that, I hope you have a good London session, and we'll chat again for the New York outlook, which will also serve as the end of day review, or potentially, actually I won't do a New York outlook, rather I'll just do an end of day review and we'll call it a day there.